Uni is a time where most people find themselves going constantly broke, having to eat instant noodles and buying the cheapest Glen's vodka or Lambrini, only to leave 3 years later with a massive amount of debt and a worse credit score than when they started. But do not do this. Building your credit score may be the last thing on your mind as you start a new academic year, but you'll want to watch this video to see the top 5 credit cards for uni students this year. Getting a credit card now as you start university will not only build your credit score, but you can take advantage of some great rewards and benefits on the way. And trust me, your future self will be thankful that you did it now. So before we get into the list of the best student credit cards of 2021, if you find this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe if you're new for more videos like this in the future. And also make sure you get your free share worth up to £200 when you sign up to FREETRADE using a link in the description, and make sure you do it because I know that free money can come in useful as a student. So with that being said, let's get right into it and start with number 1, which is the Capital One Classic credit card. While this one doesn't have all the fancy benefits and rewards that some cards do have, if you're new to credit and this is your first ever credit card, you may have to start with a credit builder card like this. You just use it as a stepping stone to build up your credit score until you're eligible for one of the better cards, maybe one of the ones later on in the list. The initial credit limit on this card is between £200 and £1,500, and you get 2 optional credit limit increases if you manage your card well. Basically that means you don't go over your credit limit and you don't have any missed payments at all. The interest rate on this card is 34.9% APR, but if you're using your card right, and by that I mean only using it to buy things that you would have spent anyway, and that you have the money to pay off straight away, the interest rate doesn't really matter, because by paying your bill in full every month, that makes sure that you don't get charged any interest anyway. There's no annual fee with this card, and it does come with a mobile app, so you can easily keep track of your spending and manage your card. But apart from that, there's no real benefits or rewards, other than the fact that Capital One has a good reputation of helping people to start to build their credit score. So if you're in a situation where you're just starting out with credit, this could be a good one to start with. Next on the list is the Barclaycard Forward credit card. This is another credit builder card perfect for university students. There's not many eligibility requirements for this card, which makes it perfect if you're on low income or you don't have much of a credit history. You do though need to have a minimum annual income of £3,000. So if you're in university, having a part-time job or maybe a side hustle should easily take care of that £3,000 income. This card has a credit limit of between £50 and £1,200. But again, if this is your first ever card, expect it to be down towards the lower end, maybe the 200 to 300 range. And this necessarily isn't a bad thing, because at this stage you're not using your credit card to buy holidays or expensive equipment. You're just using it for little purchases or maybe a weekly shopping, just to get used to credit cards and to start building up your credit score. The representative interest rate on this card is 33.9%, but if you manage your card well and don't miss any payments, that could be reduced by 3% after the first year and then another 2% in the second year. So after 2 years, you could end up with a card at 28.9% interest. The Barclaycard Forward credit card has no annual fee, and it does have the benefit of 0% on purchases for the first 3 months. So this means maybe as you first start in university, you may need some stuff for your room or some books that you just can't afford. You could put them on the credit card and you'll have 3 months to pay off the balance before they start charging you interest. Now, while this benefit can be good if you find yourself in a sticky situation, carrying a balance on your credit card and not paying it off that month is a bad habit to get into. So you should only use this if you really need to and it's an emergency situation. I'm just popping in here to say while I'm editing this video, I noticed that they've actually added some extra benefits to the Barclaycard Forward credit card. The 2 main ones to point out is that you can get up to 5 months free of Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple News Plus and Apple Arcade. And you can also earn cashback rewards of up to 15% with selected retailers. Both of these benefits could be really useful for university students and make the card an even better option. And I'll just use this card to demonstrate the importance of paying your card off in full rather than being tempted to just make the minimum repayments. If you spent £1,000 on this card at the start, so you're taking advantage of the 0% for 3 months, if you pay back the £1,000 straight away, you'd have cleared the balance and you'd have paid 0 interest. If you can only afford to pay £100 per month back, it will take you a full year to be able to clear the balance. And if you can only pay £50 per month back, it will take you a full 2 years and 4 months to be able to clear that £1,000 balance. And that's all due to interest. The longer you take to pay it off, the more interest you're going to be paying. And that shows because if you only pay the minimum repayments every single month, to clear that £1,000 initial payment will take 8 years and 8 months. So hopefully this shows you the importance of using your cards properly and only using it for necessary purchases that you would have made anyway, and you have the money to pay the card off that month. Getting a student credit card from a bank that you already have a current account with is option number 3. 4 of the most popular for this are HSBC, NatWest, RBS and TSB. The eligibility for these cards is slightly less than the others because you're already a customer of the bank, and their main aim is to get you to sign up to some of their other products like the student credit cards, because that means you're more likely to stay with them and be their customer for years to come. So with that being said, one of the biggest criteria for these cards is that you must already have a current account with that bank. So they're a good option if you do already have an account, but if you don't, I'd say it's not really worth opening an account just to get the credit card, and that's because they're just a standard credit builder type credit cards with no real benefits or rewards. So there's other similar options out there. These type of student credit cards are just a stepping stone to help build your credit until you're eligible for one of the better cashback or rewards credit cards. The interest rate on these cards range from between 18.9 to 19.9%. Now these are quite low compared to other builder credit cards on the list, but again, if you're using your card properly, the interest rate shouldn't matter because you won't be paying it anyway. There's also no annual fees on these cards, and they all have a mobile banking app to keep track of your spending and to manage your card easily. The Tesco Foundation credit card is the next best student credit card on the list. It's another card to help you build up your credit score, but the difference is with this one, you do get rewards and benefits as well. The eligibility for the Tesco Foundation credit card, again, is similar to the others, but this time you do need an annual income of at least £5,000 per year. This is probably one of the higher ones, but again, if you have a part-time job or a side hustle, that should take care of the annual income requirement. The APR on this card is 27.5%, and the initial credit limit is between £200 and £1,500. But if you're new to credit and this is your first credit card, expect the balance to be down towards the lower end again. However, having said that, like many of the other cards, they do have regular optional credit limit increases if you manage your card properly. This means not missing any payments and not going over your credit card limit. So as I mentioned before, the Tesco Foundation credit card has some benefits and rewards that most of the other student credit cards just don't have, and there's two main ones. First is that they've teamed up with TransUnion to offer cardholders a 3-year service that's completely free, where you can access your credit report, your credit scores, and also get score factors, which shows you the types of things you're doing well and also the types of things you can improve on in order to improve your credit score. This is a service that you usually need to pay around £10 a month, whether that's with Experian or TransUnion, so that's a pretty decent benefit to have for free. Then the main benefit of this card is the Tesco Club Card points. When you spend on your Tesco Foundation credit card, you'll earn Tesco Club Card points, which can then be turned into Club Card vouchers for money off your next Tesco shop. But if you don't want Tesco vouchers and you fancy something else, you can also convert the points and get up to 3 times the value of the points with some of the Tesco Club partners on things like restaurants, travel and days out, all of which are great options for university students. So how do the points work? Well, you can earn 5 points for every £4 that you spend in Tesco and also at Tesco Petrol, and then an extra 1 point for every £8 that you spend outside of Tesco. And as you continue to spend, your points will add up, and every 100 points is worth £1 in Tesco vouchers. Now that may not seem a lot, but trust me, if you're using your credit card for all of your everyday regular spending, this will soon add up, and it's actually a great benefit to have, considering most student credit cards don't have any benefits at all. There's also no annual fee for this card, and like the others, there's a mobile app to help keep track of your spending and manage your card. The last card on the list, and in my opinion the best, is the American Express Platinum Everyday Cashback Card. The name's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a great credit card for UK students. The eligibility for this card is similar to the others, but there's 2 things to point out. The first is that you won't be eligible for the bonuses if you've had any other American Express credit card within the last 2 years. And also it does state that you must have no history of bad debt. Now it doesn't specify exactly what they mean by bad debt, but it's safe to assume that going over your credit limit or missing payments won't look good. But if you've been using one of the other credit cards mentioned earlier on the list for maybe 6 to 12 months and you've managed it properly, then you should be in a good position to get this card. What you should do to make sure though is on the website there's an eligibility checker, and this gives you a good idea of whether you're likely to be accepted or not without affecting your credit score. So you should definitely do that before you apply. The minimum credit limit on this card is £1,200, which, as I'm sure you can tell, is much bigger than all of the other cards on this list. But like the other cards, if you manage your card well, don't miss any payments and don't go over the limit, then you'll also get optional credit limit increases over time. The interest rate on the Amex is around 22.2%, which you can see is a lot lower than some of the cards on this list, and there's also no annual fee for this card. Now the best bit about this card is its benefits. You can see them all on screen now, but the main one to point out for me is that you get 5% cashback on all purchases for the first 3 months. points. So you can basically earn £100 for free just by using the card for purchases that you would have made anyway. And then after the 3 months, the 5% does reduce to 0.5%, but still, if you're using the card for regular everyday purchases, that 0.5% cashback will add up. And this is one of the best benefits on a credit card available to university students. They also have a mobile app, not only where you can manage your card, but they also sometimes add some random bonuses or rewards and discounts on certain shops or restaurants, which again is another great benefit if you're a uni student. They also have different travel benefits, including travel accident insurance and the highly rated Global Assist customer service, which is just good to have whether you're home in the UK or you're traveling abroad. If you have any problems, it's good to know that there's always good customer service just a phone call away. So after watching this video, if you do decide you want to go for one of these student credit cards, there's just 2 things I want to point out. First of all is that most of these cards have eligibility checkers on their website, and you should always use them because it's a way of seeing if you're likely to be approved without affecting your credit score. If you apply for multiple cards and you're getting rejected, this will make you look credit hungry and also has a negative effect on your credit score, which is the complete opposite of what we're trying to do. And the second key point is that when you get a credit card, is to not see it as free money. You will have to pay the money back, and if you spend it on something that you can't afford to pay back straight away, you're going to be charged a lot of interest the longer you take to pay it back. So just see this credit card as a tool to build up your credit for something that's going to help you in the future, like a mortgage when you're buying your first home. If you want more tips on how to build your credit score, including do's and don'ts when using a credit card, check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.